in physical education. Part 2, Foundation of Physical Education. Who initiated surplus energy theory of play? A. Friedrich Schiller. B. Götz Mutz. C. Stanley Hall. D. Franz Nachetigal. A. Friedrich Schiller. This theory expresses that the past is the key to play. A. Instinct. B. Relaxation. C. Inheritance. D. Surplus energy. C. Inheritance. Who wrote the book Recreation of Body and Mind? A. Friedrich Schiller. B. Götz Mutz. C. Stanley Hall. D. Franz Nachetigal. B. Götz Mutz. It is the theory of Gestalt that conveys an individual learn a task as a meaningful whole rather than a series of related parts. A. Field theory. B. Stimulus-response theory. C. Relaxation theory. D. Social contact theory. A. Field theory. What theory of play is based on the premise that the human body needs some form of play as a means of revitalization? A. Recreation theory. B. Field theory. C. Relaxation theory. D. Social contact theory. A. Recreation theory. Who stressed on the premise that physical activity causes changes in the muscular, nervous, and circulatory system? A. Branting. B. Ling. C. Niblius. D. Nachtigal. A. Branting. Who is responsible for making PE as a subject? A. Frederick Ling. B. Per Hendrik Ling. C. Branting. D. Niblius. A. Frederick Ling. When was basketball first introduced as a game for girls? A. 1911. B. 1924. C. 1914. D. 1910. D. 1910. It refers to the skin and membranes of the body with the major task of protecting the underlying tissues. A. Endocrine. B. Skeletal system. C. Nervous system. D. Integumentary system. D. Integumentary system. These are man's need to take into account the opinion of others, the desire to influence others. A. Sociological needs. B. Physiological needs. C. Psychological needs. D. Relaxation needs. A. Sociological needs. What is the result of hypoproduction of growth hormones? A. Giantism. B. Dwarfism. C. Acromegaly. D. General apathy. B. Dwarfism. This is the excess of the growth hormone. A. Giantism. B. Dwarfism. C. Acromegaly. D. General apathy. A. Giantism. It is the hyperactivity of the pituitary gland in the late life. A. Giantism. B. Dwarfism. C. Acromegaly. D. General apathy. C. Acromegaly. Who is responsible in maintaining muscle tone and regulating muscle coordination? A. Cerebellum. B. Medulla. C. Cerebrum. D. Gonads. A. Cerebellum. Who revived the modern Olympic Games? A. Theodosius the Great. B. Pierre de Coubertin. C. Julius Caesar. D. Mark Antony. B. Pierre de Coubertin. Who abolished the Olympic Games? A. Theodosius the Great. B. Pierre de Coubertin. C. Julius Caesar. D. Mark Antony. A. Theodosius the Great. Who was the host of 2004 Olympic Games? A. Greece. B. Georgia. C. Australia. D. Montreal. A. Greece. The most common cause of sterility in women. A. Cyclical change. B. Irregular menstruation. C. Testosterone. D. Failure to ovulate. D. Failure to ovulate. A physiological cessation of the menstrual flow and at the end of childbearing period. A. Irregular menstruation. B. Menopause. C. Andropause. D. Follicles. B. Menopause. How many bones are there in a human body? A. 200. B. 206. C. 230. D. 260. 206.